Coming up on Around the Rock, Women Who Rock, a sit-down interview with matter-of-fact host Soledad O'Brien, as well as talking to some high schoolers about the new movie being filmed just down the road in Grove City. We have a special sports report, a feature highlighting several women on campus, and a sit-down interview with the director of the Women's Center. All this and more on Around the Rock, Women Who Rock. Hello and welcome to Women Who Rock, a special edition of Around the Rock brought to you by the members of WSRU-TV.
This special episode is in honor of Women's Month and will highlight women leaders on campus and in the community. As women leaders in WSRU-TV, we're happy to be your anchors tonight. I'm Christina Nat.
And I'm Haley Potter. Speaking of women leaders, aside from my role as the president of WSRU-TV, our very own Hannah Shumsky is the editor-in-chief for The Rocket. Our advisor is a powerful woman, Dr. Brittany Fleming, and not to mention our department is run by Dr. Katrina Quinn, another woman leader, and that is just within the communication department.
There are so many accomplished women leaders on our campus. Hannah Shumsky sat down and talked to some of them. Let's take a look.
Slippery Rock University is home to over 160 student organizations, and many of these student organizations are led by Slippery Rock's own women leaders, just like me. Hi, I'm Hannah Shumsky, and I'm the editor-in-chief of The Rocket, Slippery Rock's student-run, independent newspaper and website. And I'm a very proud student leader on campus, and I wanted to talk to other women leaders for the month of March about their own experience in leadership. Here's what they had to say. What attracted you to SRU? Why did you come to Slippery Rock University?
My parents were actually both alum of Slippery Rock University, so at first I was like, there's no way, like, I'm going to do my own thing, I might move somewhere far away, and then I decided I wanted to be an education major and really saw how good the education program was here, and I visited the school with my parents, like, the last school I visited, and I came here and stepped on campus and immediately, like, felt like it was home. Compared to, I saw so many schools and I was like, this is definitely home. Like, I never saw myself living or doing anything on any other campus, and I really contribute, like, everything that I've learned to Slippery Rock University outside of, like, even my academics. Like, I think I've learned so much more even outside of the classroom.
So I'm actually originally from New York City, and choosing a college, I wanted to go somewhere not so much like where I'm like used to, and I actually never visited Slippery Rock, nor did I know what I wanted to major in, because I knew I wanted to be in the STEM program, but I never knew what, so I went with environmental geoscience not knowing whether it was a good program or not. So I kind of just came and I hoped for the best, really.
It was really funny that you said that, because I'm pretty much the same way. Like, my dad went to Slippery Rocks, and I mean, he was business, so he was something completely different. But he went here, my mom went to Duquesne, and I kind of wanted to go somewhere completely different. And when I looked at places, I kind of realized that I didn't want to be that far away from my family. So the first time that I came here, I felt like it was home too. And I don't think, there weren't many places that had professional writing as a major. So my options were a little bit limited for Pennsylvania, and if I wanted to go somewhere else, I could. But I think that as soon as I came to this campus and knew that my dad went here and professional writing was here, I think that it was an easy choice to just love Slippery Rock and everything that it had and could give me.
After being part of her high school yearbook, Jenna Moses knew that she had to be part of a publication in college. A senior professional and creative writing double major, she is now the co-managing editor of SLAB, SRU's literary magazine. She's also traveled around the U.S. at conferences to represent SLAB and Sigma Tau Delta, and most recently traveled to Texas.
Right. Yeah, so I did yearbook in high school, and I knew coming into this that I wanted to be involved again in some sort of publishing book type of thing. And I had heard at other colleges that I'd toured at that there were such things as literary magazines, but I didn't know exactly what they were. So when I came here, we do this thing every year where we put one of the books in the freshman dorms, and I saw one. I was like, oh my gosh, this was the thing that I was planning on joining anyway. And so I took that. I started out as a reader and worked my way up to like a genre editor and then to assistant managing editor. And so now I'm one of the co-managing editors. And it was kind of a gradual process, but I think like making friends with the people that were in the higher up positions really helped. And I mean, they they helped prepare me for the position that I'm at now. And my advisor, I had him for class, so it was kind of just everybody that was higher up helping the people that were younger and really encouraging them to move into the higher positions. So, yeah.
For Emily Abreu, joining the Student Organization of Latinos, Hispanics, and Allies, or SOL, was the reason she decided not to transfer away from Slippery Rock University. Now a senior environmental geoscience and Spanish double major, she previously served as SOL's president last school year and served as a student organization advisor this year.
So I personally was in the middle of submitting my transfer papers because I did not really like Slippery Rock my first semester here, and I actually saw on Snapchat the Clubs and Orgs Fair, and somebody had posted, like, they were just going through like each poster of each organization, and I had saw SOL, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, if I'm gonna give this university like a try, I need to like meet these people, I need to see what this organization is about. And so I contacted the president at the time, Aaron Carr, and he was so nice. He was just like, please, like, come through, like, we would love to have you in our organization. So I went, and it was like a week shy of Day of the Dead, our like annual event, and they were like, we would love you to be a model, please be a part of this organization, like, we love you. And I just felt like so much love from them. They honestly to this day are like my older siblings, like, and it's been like 5 years since I've met them, and like them, just meeting them and being a part of the Dead literally a week before like joining, it was just the best thing like ever.
Julie Thomas is a junior middle level mathematics education major. After serving as Alpha Xi Delta's president last year, she stepped into the role of president of Panhellenic Council this year. She hopes to continue her education in student affairs and higher education, just like her mentor, Laura Moran of SRU.
So for the Panhellenic Council, my focus and hope for the next semester that I'm president is to really focus on mental health. I know our community has been struck by grief, and I know the entire Slippery Rock community has as well. So really making sure all our members feel supported, and hopefully putting on a speaker that comes from the Panhellenic Council and Interfraternity IFC. So we're hoping to collaborate on something on that, and then also plan a successful formal recruitment, which is a big deal that Panhellenic Council like really focuses on. So getting as many women to sign up, getting as many women as possible to go through with the process is always the hardest part. So really creating and advertising a successful formal recruitment in order to grow our community as much as we can.
Stay tuned for more from Jenna, Julie, and Emily, and to hear from Maggie Calvert of the Student Government Association and Celine Holt of the University Program Board.
Those are incredible leaders on our campus.
You're right, Christine. Women don't always have it so easy, though. Women still face some economic inequality in today's society. Nationally, in the uncontrolled gender pay gap, women only make 79 cents to a man's dollar.
On a controlled gender gap pay, the numbers are slightly tighter. Women make 98 cents to a man's dollar. Erin Mary spoke to Cindy Lacombe and has more on these gender inequalities. Erin.
The wage gap is something that has affected all genders and races and still exists today. I had the chance to talk to Dr. Cindy Lacombe, the Director of Gender Studies Program, about some specifics of what the wage breakdown looks like.
When it comes to the wage gap among genders and race, where's the biggest discrepancy?
The biggest discrepancy is for African American and Latino women. And I'll have to, again, this is where I'm going to look at my data, but as of 2019, for people who hold full-time jobs in the United States, Black women are typically paid 61 cents for every dollar that a man makes. Native American, 58 cents, and Latinas are paid just 53 cents to every dollar that white men make. And for white women, it's the data is a little bit varied, but it's between 78 and 80 cents per dollar for every dollar that a white man makes.
So what kind of is that leading cause that has kept the wage gap so astronomically big, and why hasn't it been attacked or abolished yet?
Well, there are efforts to everything from the Family Paid Leave Act to ballot measures on protecting pregnant women and workers. the primary reason, and I see the gender and race wage gap as being intimately connected. I don't feel like we can talk about the gender wage gap because it is so deeply raced. And so the biggest reasons are systemic and structural sexism and racism, which are thriving in our society. I mean, according to the Anti-Defamation League's report of 2019, white supremacist movements are gaining more members right now than they have for decades, and they are targeting college students. That's their primary demographic at present. According to the Road to Zero Wealth, a report that came out 2 years ago, Black men with a college degree, and this has to do with the wealth gap and not the wage gap, they're slightly different, but Black men with a college degree will earn less money in their lifetime than a white high school male dropout. So one of the pieces of data I like to share is that as of 2019, if you look at kindergarten teachers, only 2.3% of kindergarten teachers are men. And when I ask my students, why do you think that might be, what many of them say is that it's based on sexism and really toxic notions about men, and the idea that men are not supposed to interact with children, and if they do, they're considered pedophiles. Even if you look at work that doesn't demand a degree, if you look at assisted living facilities, women are working overwhelmingly in those positions. They're making minimum wage, and a man working the same kind of job, say in building houses, might make as much as 2 times more than she. That building a house is more dangerous than working in an assisted living facility, but my response is, wow, we have our parents, our grandparents, our loved ones in these assisted living facilities. This could be some of the most important labor that anyone can do. So I think that if I presented as gender non-binary and used they, them pronouns and made that clear to prospective employers, my chances even in 2020 of getting employment would drop.
What is your advice for starting to negotiate through the wage gap?
My advice would be to let me know if you're interested in attending a gender studies meet and greet on March 17th, starting at 7 o'clock, which will be followed by a professional development workshop, because it talks about how do you take a knowledge of gender and diversity, whether you're a gender studies minor or major, or you've only had intro gender studies, or you are a member of Rock Out, or you are a member of FMLA, or you are a member of Black Action Society or Soul. How do you take what might be seen as a potential something that you don't want to talk about? How do you use it to market yourself effectively to prospective grad programs and employers?
For more events and discussion about similar issues, check out the Gender Studies Club's core page. Reporting for WSRU, I'm Aaron Mary.
I am now joined by Loisha, the director of the Women's Center and Pride Center. They're here today to talk to us about some of these differences and also about the positive impacts that women have on this campus. Welcome, Loisha.
Thank you.
So can you tell me a little about the Women's Center and what you do?
So basically, Women's Center is a kind of community-based organization within the organization, which provides the safe space and different resources for all people who identify as women and who ally with women. So we are not limiting the access only to the women. And basically, it's kind of, in my perspective, should be like a family-run organization, which people could come to and feel free to join any conversation. So that's how I envision it, not limiting only women, only women, only women.
Yeah, like one big joint
Yeah,
family,
so
like you mentioned.
yeah, because we're in this so, changing world, rapidly changing, so we have to acknowledge that some people who probably are not biologically female, but they identify as female, so we have to provide the space for them as well.
And you want to be open to talking about that with everybody
Absolutely.
in the center as well. Do you think that women do face inequality on this campus?
Absolutely. So we have like 59% of student population, faculty population who are female, historically in Pennsylvania state. But if you see politically, the women still undermined. It's still underrepresented in terms of like leadership. Even we look at the faculty members or top administration, it's all mostly men run. So, and at the same time, of course, women historically in this area a little bit suppressed because of certain traditions and conservative values. So that's what we have to break through.
And what do you try to do to help some of those barriers, to break some of those barriers at Slippery Rock specifically?
There should be, so what we are trying to educate. Educate is our most powerful tool. At the same time, my personal perspective, we have to act up. We have to radically organize certain bodies of students and faculty to advocate for themselves. Because sometimes we can come, we can educate, we can say, don't do that, do not do this. But if we are not doing ourselves, we are not doing from the grassroots perspective, nothing could be achieved. So we have to be out loud, especially within this political turmoil in this 2020. Yeah.
That makes complete sense, and that's some of the things you do and don't do. And what do you do specifically to empower women on our campus?
So we do have different programming, right? So it's our major goals. So we do have trainings. We have do some different educational programs. We also join some bodies like Women's Commission to advocate, to be a bridge between students' body and administrative body. So we're trying different things, but primarily is education and leadership. So that's what we're trying to establish right now, leadership trainings and some kind of workshops that will give you as female, right, female human beings, some tips and skills how to, outside of the campus, to advocate for yourself.
Okay. And how can someone get involved with the Women's Center and some of these workshops and activities that you were speaking about?
So we're very open. So the space is open. You always can come, walk in, drop, in. And we have social media. We have calendar for each month, usually for events we're having, and especially now it's like Women's Month, Body Positivity. Yes, we have a huge calendar. We compile all events related to women, and we put it outside. So we are still kind of conservative in terms of promotion of different, like British people's advertisement. So we still do paper stuff, right?
Okay,
so we didn't emphasize on social media or electronic resources. So that's kind of run here. But you can come, you can join anytime. We are not limiting the access to any of our events, except if it's something confidential, if it's related to, some one-on-one sessions and people come to us, or if it's like some groups decided to be isolated from others, like transgender female population. If they want to have support group, we cannot open it for everyone.
Well, that makes complete sense, yeah. So you mentioned that body positivity is the theme for Women's History Month. Where did that come about, and why do you think that's a good theme?
So it was my idea originally, because actually when I was interviewed for my position on September 6th, I went to the Buzel and I had a conversation with students who were with me, and they told me about difficulties, and I said, do you have any things related to body positivity, how you promote your sexuality? And because I used to see all of those beautiful images, but behind that, we don't see other people. So, and it came about to be Women's History Month, like, let's do something different. And especially now, it's very growing trend in the fashion industry. One of my friends, Christina, she's like from American top model. She runs the organizations for women and people who are not typically beautiful in terms of all of those, media and political concepts. So to give ourselves confidence in our sexuality, because what I find very interesting, we have different types of bodies, different types of sexuality, but we only talk about 1% of body which is shown through different, like Desperate Housewives and whatever, Orange County, which is not the real life. So we need to be real, we need to acknowledge that we are different and we don't have to follow. And besides, a lot of things coming out of that fashion trend when you, in terms of anorexia, bulimia, all of those unhealthy stuff that people follow because they forced by heteronormative matrix of beauty to fit the society. We have to be better than that. We have to be about. That's why we're celebrating all types of bodies, all types of sexualities.
That sounds like such an important theme. Like, that's great that you're able to
Thank
do that.
you.
And what are some of the events that you do have planned already for the month ahead?
So we are having, after the spring break, we had already like a salary negotiation workshop, but after spring break we have Together We Rise is kind of a platform for women's organizations and women's identified to come together and to share their experiences in terms of civic engagement. We're calling civic engagement. We're having also with queens, social media, and people of color and how they over-sexualize via social media. We have safe zone training for LGBTIQ allies because we have a lot of people who identify as female as well. We have different conversations, and we have self-defense classes with Women's Commission. They bring in a person who will teach people who would like to defend themselves, because we still want to talk about sexual assault and sexual violence and stalking, which happens, and we sometimes just try to be silenced.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of huge amount of events. You can check it out, but basically we're trying to be as much diverse as we could. So, and include all types of women and female identified people.
That's awesome. I saw there's a huge list, so people
Yeah.
can see that. I'm assuming on your social media.
On social media.
What
and,
is your social media handle?
So we, it's like, I even don't remember that. You millennials, you remember all of this at whatever. So we we put all calendars out there,
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we have in dorms and rest halls, you go to rest halls, right? So in academic buildings, you can check it out. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's a
Women's
huge-
Center on Instagram and Facebook
on
for these
Facebook
events?
and Twitter, yes,
On
and
Twitter?
Facebook. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you, of
We
course.
truly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And after this commercial break, we'll hear from some more women leaders on this campus, as well as some more of their struggles. And later on, we will feature women athletes and get a quick update on sports. Stay tuned.
It starts with a dream, and then something, someone, or someplace happens. That is the difference between those who dream and those who make it happen. An experience where you are pushed, challenged, knocked down, picked up, encouraged to do better and to be better. Make your dreams happen at Slippery Rock University. Experience the difference.
Welcome back to Around the Rock Women Who Rock edition. We're going to throw it back over to Hannah Shumsky to highlight some more of our women leaders on campus.
If you want to look for our next two featured women leaders, look no further than the suite in the Smith Student Center, which houses many student organizations, including neighboring SGA and UPB. There, you just might find seniors Maggie Calvert, a vice president of the Student Government Association, and Selena Holt, president of the University Program Board.
Would the senior high school version of yourselves see you as a leader at a mid-sized university in PA today?
I would say no, especially in my senior year for me was very tough because I was trying to find like where I'm going to school. I was trying to pick a major. I applied for the music program here actually, and I didn't make it into the program that I wanted. So I was just like, what do I do now? So I was, I didn't really know what to do. So I just applied to Slippery Rock because I had a couple track meets here. I knew where it was and it was close to home. So being where I am now compared to then is a really big difference and a really exciting change. So. Yeah.
I think with me, I could picture myself in a leadership role because I came to Slippery Rock instead of going somewhere like Pitt, out of state, somewhere that had a big school actual name and feel, but I wanted to be a name and not just a number. So being able to get my foot in the door very early, only applying to Slippery Rock, like I knew what I wanted and it was a matter of how am I going to get there. So taking that first step and finding like that mid-size where you still know everyone, you meet someone new every day, but you're definitely a name and not a number.
And Celine certainly has made her place right at SRU. A resort recreation and hospitality major, she has been part of the University Program Board since her freshman year and applied for an e-board position the first chance she could.
My freshman year, whenever I came in, as I said, I wanted to find UPB. So during that first involvement fair, I scanned every single row of the quad trying to find UPB, and I got my foot in the door as soon as I signed my name on that paper saying I was interested. My freshman year, I got involved in every committee, and then when applications came around, I was like, you know what, I'll get my foot in the door. Like, I'll apply for president, I'll apply for all the directors. I ended up getting a position my freshman to sophomore year, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool, all right. So then I stuck with it as director of university events my sophomore year, moved to the special events position my junior year, and then this year, to round it all out, I became president.
She took her talents and expertise abroad this past summer during her internship with Carnival Cruise Lines, who offered her a full-time job after graduation.
I was officially extended a full-time job following graduation.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So about 2 weeks after graduation, I will be flying out and sailing out of Australia for 6 months. So very different from Slippery Rock, but quite the adventure.
Maggie is a senior triple major in political science, philosophy, and gender studies, and is the second person in SGA history to hold the position of Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion after a successful write-in campaign last April. She was a founding member of the Social Justice Committee alongside mentor Victoria Davis. That committee eventually gained a standing status 2 years ago and is led by the VP of Diversity and Inclusion each year.
So my main commitment right now is being Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion for SGA, which is a very long title. But I started out last year as a commuter senator, and that was my first year on SGA. I guess I started the year before with SGA though. Victoria Davis was the chair of the Social Justice Committee, and it wasn't a standing committee yet, so I worked with her to try to get that to be established. And then she was graduating, and she said, "Hey, we need you to stay on this committee. We need you to see it through." So I just wanted to just be a senator first. I didn't want to run for the position, and then I loved what I did last year, and I made my way up into the executive board, and I really, really enjoyed it this year. So my baby this year has been the menstrual product initiative. I'm trying to make it so that there are menstrual products free and accessible in every single bathroom on campus. Under my leadership, we'll have 14 bathrooms hopefully coming to us soon. They've been ordered, so we're waiting on those. Definitely Dr. Frederick has been one of my closest faculty mentors. She has mentored me in every single step of the way since my freshman year, so I really appreciate the guidance that she's given me. And then I would say my peer mentor would be Victoria Davis, who helped me get into this position and helped me really get into social justice and civic engagement.
So what is the ideal leader? Here's what these 5 women had to say.
So I think for me, somebody I look up to is somebody who really challenges the people. So someone who is really influential to general members. I know, like, looking at a chapter president or looking at somebody in a high leadership position, you're like, oh, I could never be there. My part in leadership is empowering other women and empowering other members of any general body to become and step up into those roles. I know people that I'm working with now never saw themselves in the positions that they're in, but I also never thought that I would be able to be in this position, so why couldn't anybody else?
When I look at leadership, I look a lot at teamwork as well, because I think that one of the things that I like most about being a leader of my club is that my clubs is that the people that I work with are amazing and some of my best friends here, and I love getting to collaborate with them and work with them and hear the ideas that they thought of that I never would have thought of. And so I think with me being a leader, I like to be organized, but there's so much that comes out of the people that I work with that make being a leader easy. And so I guess teamwork really does make the dream work.
I'd have to say, they have to be strong, confident, and passionate, and most importantly, open-minded, in agreement to the teamwork, because a strong leader would be one who does not refer to themselves as a leader, as this is my e-board, this is my organization, this is our e-board, this is our organization. Our mission is to educate the campus community of Hispanic culture. And to me, for Soul, the leader really has to be passionate about that.
For me, my personal ideal leadership is somebody who can communicate well, whether it's communicating through face-to-face contact or email or whatever kind of communication works best for you, and somebody who can take a step back and realize not everybody has the same leadership style, and to give everybody their space to have different leadership positions, and it doesn't take one person to be a leader.
I look for a leader who can also be a mentor and role model. So being able to share their knowledge and not be afraid to dive in with the group. So instead of saying I am the leader, here's what needs done, but instead of saying how can we work together to do this, or leading by example. So being able to mix yourself in and not see it in those hierarchical projections.
Thanks to Emily, Jenna, Julie, Maggie, and Celine for their time, and happy National Women's Month from WSRU-TV News. I'm Hannah Shumsky, back to the desk.
Thank you, Hannah. On a more national level, Soledad O'Brien, a former CNN and NBC star, visited our campus 2 weeks ago. WSRU-TV got to sit down with Soledad before she shared her story with the rest of the campus and community. Let's take a look.
This is what it's going to be like.
Best known for being an ex-CNN reporter, NBC star, and current host of her own show, Matter of Fact, Soledad O'Brien made an appearance at Slippery Rock University. She spoke about her documentaries Black in America, Latino in America, and Gay in America, as well as a special piece she did on the women heroes at Ground Zero during 9/11, called Beyond Bravery. Soledad truly believes in the power of storytelling and thinks everyone should have the opportunity to tell their story to the world.
How do you recognize at a point in your career, I'm comfortable where I'm at, this is it, this is what I want for myself?
I've never been there.
Yeah.
I like moving on, and I think that I always try to take jobs where I can grow my skill set.
Before her speech, Soledad spoke to student leaders and the media about life events ranging from her family to covering her toughest story, Hurricane Katrina, to how having a family of her own has impacted her journalism.
I really took note to her mentoring and her networking strategies.
She has so much experience working in this field.
From ripping staples out of the wall at her first job to being the CEO of her own company, Starfish Media, Soledad O'Brien truly is an inspiration.
I am so glad that we were able to attend such an inspiring event. Soledad has her own show, Matter of Fact, and she also has her own media company, Starfish Media. As a woman business leader, Soledad says that education is the ultimate equalizer.
And speaking of women in business, several establishments that you love right here in town are led by women. Angel's Attic, Bob Subs, and Yumberries are all run by women alone. Stay tuned for a separate feature with the owner of Angel's Attic later on in the month.
Athletes are some of our other women leaders on campus. In total, Slippery Rock has 311 women leaders. After this commercial break, we'll hear from some of them. Stay tuned.
It starts with a dream. And then something, someone, or someplace happens. That is the difference between those who dream and those who make it happen. An experience where you are pushed, challenged, knocked down, picked up, encouraged. To do better and to be better. Make your dreams happen at Slippery Rock University. Experience the difference.
I am now joined by Ashley Kaiser, fellow sports reporter and Around the Rock sports anchor.
Hello, Christine. Thank you for having me. First off, we should go over some small things that happened since our show on Monday.
Senior Maddie Marshall and junior Reagan Hess did not make the cut and are now participating in the Division II NCAA National Championship.
The women's lacrosse team won their game 19-3. However, they played Grove City College due to the turf not being complete yet.
Men's basketball team lost to Pitt Johnstown 85-78 in the first round of the playoffs on Monday. The team finished 15-14.
To keep the conversation going about women who rock, I had the chance to talk to senior softball player Alexa Grunamino and had head coach Stacy Rice about their role as dedicated women in sports and a bit of a season preview heading into spring break.
Women are strong, man. Their pain tolerance is incredibly high. Their tenacity is incredibly high.
Just making sure that we are using our voice, especially, and saying that we have a part and a place on this campus, and we want to make that known.
Coach at the collegiate level, what is it like training these powerful and talented athletes?
Well, some days it's awesome and it's invigorating and inspires myself. Sometimes you scratch your head because it's different. Everything's different from when I played from 10 years ago or when I coached just 3 years ago. Every generation, every year, things kind of change and they blow you away.
So as the team captain, what has it been like as a leadership role on the team among a bunch of incredible women?
That's a great question. A very rewarding experience for sure, having that leadership role, because I have been able to develop these relationships with freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and then I am only senior, so I can't really develop that role, but just knowing that everyone has a voice on this team and that those voices can come together and create a great impact.
Recently, Alyssa Knockin, she became a full-time coach in the MLB.
Yeah.
She's the first one in history for the San Francisco Giants. Do you feel like this has become a stepping stone for women in coaching professional sports?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it at the NFL level as well, not just Major League Baseball. Absolutely, I think we're moving in the right direction, but we still have so much room to grow. I think it's awesome that barriers are being broken, but I think at the same time barriers are being broken, we still are building barriers. Title IX is still an issue, equality is still an issue, and there are always going to be limitations, and like I said, we need to continue to change people's perspectives and show everybody what women are capable of doing.
Your guys' preparation in the preseason, really ready to get you guys out on the field, whether it's snowing or not, right?
It's been a rough indoor experience for us preparing. We have a lot of injuries this season already before we even played many games. But with that, I think it's called for people to step up and maybe try a new position, work a little harder. And I think everyone realizes, oh, this is a different kind of year because we're already kind of strapped with numbers and depth, and it's going to require some people kind of really stepping up, whether it's in leadership roles or just playing on the field performance. And so I'm interested to see how all of that pans out. Are we prepared to play games? It's tough to say because we haven't really been outside all that much. You know, it's snowing and the wind's blowing currently right now. Are we ready? Yes, we were ready last week. We need to get out there. We know the only way for us, that is the next step. The only way for us to truly get better is for us to start playing games and get out there.
Hannah Shumsky also had the chance to talk to some influential women leaders on the women's basketball team. Junior Cash Harris and Coach Wilson talked to Hannah after their game Saturday against Mercyhurst. Then we'll be back at the desk with Haley.
Trying to get people to support women's sports and, you know, just to even come out. We do get a great support from our school.
Yeah, same thing. I feel like the biggest barrier is just attention, because like we all put in the same work. We all, you know, work hard for the sport. It's just a lack of attention. And being a player, I get it, because like, you know, men they bring that excitement. They are, you know, can more athleticism, and that's what people want to see. So, being girls, it's just more like our game is more simple, and that's probably the biggest barrier because we don't really like, we don't have that high intensity, but it's just more at a simple level.
Time and efforts putting into practices and the game were worth it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just spending time with each other and being able to be around each other, you know, to get better, enjoying this group was good. So, practice was always good.
Yeah, for sure. It just goes as far as like, I know we're gonna get out of here one day, so the down moments, the up moments, it's all just like building my character when we leave here. So all of it is worth it to me.
Welcome back to Women Who Rock. We have highlighted many women today who have impacted our campus community.
Wendy Laterra, the advisor for SGA, spoke to WSRU-TV about some of these women leadership roles on campus.
Well, I know even since I was originally hired that the university definitely supports women leaders. There was a female president at the time, and if you take a look around Dr. Berry's cabinet in particular, there's some really strong women who are on his leadership team. This office, I mean, you walk out my door and you can walk around the suite and see so many strong female leaders, and just campus in general. I think that there's a lot of support in the culture here. So that's definitely been something that has influenced me while I've been here. Well, I hope they take away from me, you know, my work ethic. I really like to demonstrate a strong work ethic for the students. It's super important once you leave college. You know, there's so much free time and flexibility in your schedules, but then when you get into that first job, it's really important to learn, you know, the structure and, you know, what it means to put your time into your job. You know, and especially for some of the exec board that I work very closely with, particularly the president, the parliamentarian, and the VP of finance. I've been really fortunate over the years to have some really strong females in those roles. And even, you know, working with the males too, I like to demonstrate a strong work ethic and really commitment to what they're doing. You know, I'm a first generation college student, so when I look to my family members, you know, my mother and particularly my grandmothers, they modeled for me, you know, strong women in the home. And that was one thing, you know, when I went on to college and eventually into my career, I had to learn how to balance that, which was really, really interesting for me. And, you know, in my first jobs, I definitely had some very, very strong mentors, female leaders. But looking back even before that, you know, college and high school, some of my most influential teachers and faculty were definitely women. And I feel that they have definitely shaped where I am today.
The President's Commission on Women is a group dedicated to working with the President's Office to empower and protect female students, faculty, and staff on campus. One of their latest projects is a plan to install changing rooms and bathrooms and lactation rooms on campus.
The Commission spoke to WSRU-TV about these new stations and the importance of bringing them to our campus.
I'm here in the Women's Center located in the Smith Student Center on floor 2 in Suite 2. The Slippery Rock Women's Center's mission is to create and sustain an environment in which women and men can live, learn, and work together in an equal and understanding and mutual respect. Other facilities on campus also offer areas to breastfeed and pump. Also says they will never turn anyone away. I'm sitting in the Women's Center's breastfeeding room. The purpose of this facility is to provide a safe and secure environment for women that are mothers to utilize to pump or breastfeed. We sat down to talk to student Jenna Blair to see if students were aware of these facilities and what they think about them.
No, I was not aware that we have access to these facilities. I think it could help them because it allows them to feel more comfortable and feel like they have a space where they can feel included.
Reporting for WSRU-TV, I'm Ashley Kaiser.
And down the road in Grove City, a movie was filmed last week featuring Kristen Stewart and other actresses. Sammy Amato had the opportunity to interview the internship supervisor about this movie and about her role with the Pittsburgh Film Office.
The movie has a controversial plot, which caused some debate among the community members in Grove City. I joined Sammy and Aaron Mary at the scene of the filming and got to talk to some high schoolers and middle schoolers who waited in the 20-degree temperatures to catch some action.
Kristen Stewart, Aubrey Plaza, Dan Levy, Mackenzie Davis, and Allison Brie are starring in a new Christmas movie called Happiest Season. The movie is set to release this November, right in time for the holiday season. But they have quite a bit of filming left to do, and one of their locations is in our very own Grove City. A lot of members of the community are excited to have a taste of Hollywood in their backyard, but some are concerned how the conservative town might be skeptical of the filming. Grove City high school and middle school students had a lot to say about it.
So being from a town, I don't know if you know a lot about this town, it is a very conservative town. We literally have a Christian college here. That's our biggest distraction. It's not very welcoming to LGBT communities and stuff like that. So it's such a big, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's
get representation.
Yeah.
To see representation
in our town, in a place where it's always been if you're not a straight white Christian person, get out. That's how it feels in this town. Did it go?
I think it's very empowering because a lot of people are in the minority and well, not a lot, but there's people in the minority, and they're always looking for that outlet that they're to express themselves. And I feel like this is an amazing place, especially to see this is set in Christmas time, the happiest time in year, and happy season. That's the name. And I think it's amazing that they're kind of breaking the stereotype of the normal rom-com.
The Pittsburgh Film Office's mission is to bring movies to the Pittsburgh area, and we're a part of the process helping Happiest Season with location choices. Don Keyser explains a little bit more about what they do.
The Pittsburgh Film Office is a 30-year-old economic development organization that was put in place to market all of southwestern Pennsylvania to the film industry. And that includes everybody. Feature films, television movies, TV shows, we now call those episodics because of all the streaming, television commercials, documentaries, student films. We work with anyone rolling any type of film or media in this case and help them find the best locations and get them what they need so they hire more people and spend more money while they're in the region. We like projects that come and spend money and hire people. This is really all about jobs. And in the film industry, these are family-sustaining jobs. The average wages on a film job in southwestern Pennsylvania start at the low at about $22 an hour and could go on up over $30 an hour. These are union jobs, and they include full benefits. And this is really, it's a fun business to be in, but at the end of the day, this is about people working, people supporting their families, people being able to choose which schools their kids go to, and being able to buy them shoes at the same time. So we don't ever really get involved in content. It's not really what's about. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we offer film tax credits for everything that you're filming in the Commonwealth, as long as you meet the requirements.
In the end, Grove City had the perfect small town feel they needed to make the movie work. Reporting with WSRU-TV, I'm Sammy Amato.
Women's History Month will include several campus events. Some of these include a town hall on inclusion, body positivity, and equal pay day bake sale. We are happy that we were able to have so many inspiring women on our show today.
Thank you to all of our guests this evening and for everyone who made this show a success. Have a safe and fun spring break. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks for the SGA update, as well as later in the semester for our SGA Special Edition and Sports Special Edition. Until then, I'm Haley Potter.
And I'm Christine Annette. For WSRU-TV, your campus.
Your community,
your station.